A single Studio Ghibli style film can take 5 to 7 years to complete and require over 100,000 hand-drawn frames. But AI can generate a frame like this in under 10 seconds. In just 5 years, we've gone from clunky chatbots to AI models scoring in the top 10% on the bar exam, and even helping scientists discover new antibiotics. We're no longer advancing alongside AI, we're being left behind. My name is Sam Woods. I've used AI since 2016 and I'm now training Fortune 1000 teams on how to use it so that they're prepared for what comes next. I've consulted in over 37 different industries and I'm now convinced of one thing. Humans may no longer be the smartest species on Earth. Right now, AI doesn't seem smarter than you, right? It doesn't have your intuition. Now, AI lacks common sense, intuition, instinct. It cannot understand why something happens, and it can't really adapt when rules change. And that's because AI recombines existing data, which means that it cannot imagine, think, or be creative in the way humans are. But that creates a false sense of comfort, because we assume intelligence must look human to be powerful, and that's a dangerous illusion. As Eliezer Yudkowsky, the co-founder and research fellow at the Machine Intelligence Research Institute said, and I quote, "By far, the greatest danger of artificial intelligence is that people conclude too early that they understand it." So, humanity took centuries to master the complex systems that we live by today. Mathematics evolved over thousands of years, from Babylonian arithmetic all the way to Newton's calculus in the 1600s. Language itself appeared around 3000 BCE, but modern grammar and linguistics theory only began forming in the 19th and 20th centuries. And art. Everything from perspective drawing to classical composition took millennia of cultural evolution. But today, AI can replicate the hand-drawn magic of Studio Ghibli in a style that took decades of human mastery to develop in just seconds. Let's also take DeepMind's AlphaGo. Go is a game so complex it's been described as the pinnacle of human strategy. It took us over 2,500 years to refine it. AlphaGo learned it in 3 days. Then it went on to defeat the world's best human player, not just with brute force, but with creativity. It made moves no human had imagined before. Or look at OpenAI's GPT-4o, o1, o3, o4, and all these reasoning models. They can write essays, scripts, software, perform intensive data analysis, and generate business strategies out of thin air. What takes a human a specialized degree and years of experience, these AI models can generate instantly, without ever getting tired, distracted, or emotional. And this isn't a linear progression, this is exponential. The AI you're using today is 100 times more powerful than what we had 5 years ago. Think about that. In human terms, it's like going from the Wright brothers airplane to interstellar rockets into space in less than a decade. That's insane. So when people ask me, is AI smarter than humans? They're asking the wrong question. Intelligence isn't about mimicking us. It is about solving problems faster, cheaper, and at a scale that we can't comprehend. That's why AI is going to surpass human intelligence in ways we aren't ready for. Now, when we talk about AI taking over, we imagine an AI that has consciousness. But a study by 19 researchers assessed AI systems against neuroscientific theories of consciousness, such as the global workspace theory and higher order theories. And that study found that current AI systems do not exhibit the necessary indicators of consciousness. And the neurogenetic structuralism theory suggests that consciousness arises from complex physiology of biological neurons. Now, AI lacks such a biological structure, so it cannot achieve consciousness the way us humans understand or think we understand consciousness. AI may not have consciousness, but it doesn't need to think like us to outsmart us. In fact, one of the biggest myths about AI is that it needs to be conscious to be dangerous. We like to imagine that unless AI can feel or reflect, it can't truly think. But that's human arrogance disguised as philosophy. Consciousness might be a beautiful feature of the human experience, but it is not a prerequisite for dominance. A chess computer doesn't know that it's playing chess. It doesn't daydream about being a grand master, but it still wins. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. In the real world, we're watching non-conscious systems quietly outperform humans at high-stakes tasks. I'm talking about medical diagnoses, legal analysis, and even military simulations. This is a major reason DARPA is testing autonomous AI weapons. I mean, machines obviously won't hesitate. They'll just do what they're told and obey your command. Tools like CoCounsel and Harvey AI are already being used by major law firms to draft legal arguments, summarize depositions, and analyze contracts faster and more accurately than junior attorneys. In 2020, an AI called AlphaFold figured out proteins fold, something that scientists couldn't solve for 50 years. And that helped with making new medicines. Another AI, Libratas, beat top poker players by learning how to bluff and change his strategy, something even smart people struggle with. And in 2023, an AI system beat top radiologists at identifying breast cancer by spotting patterns invisible to the human eye, not by understanding what cancer is, but by pure pattern recognition. That's cold, relentless logic, the kind that doesn't second guess. AI also doesn't fall prey to ego. It doesn't sleep on decisions. And most importantly, it learns from trillions of data points in a fraction of the time. While we're still debating whether AI can be conscious, it's already making decisions faster, cheaper, better, and without bias fatigue. So even without actually being human, AI could beat humans at making decisions in every domain. Ever since AI entered the public consciousness, the default fear has been the same. What happens when machines take our jobs? The people closest to AI's development aren't just worried about replacement. The deeper threat is that it surpasses us permanently. For example, Elon Musk famously said on X that AI is potentially more dangerous than nukes. Geoffrey Hinton, often known as the godfather of AI, said in 2023 that there's a 50-50 chance that artificial intelligence will surpass human intelligence within 20 years. Some say that's going to happen faster. And futurists like Ray Kurzweil has a different name for this. He calls it the singularity. It's a moment where humans and machines become so deeply integrated that the line between biology and technology disappears completely. It sounds absolutely wild until you realize that it's already in motion. In 2024, Neuralink successfully implanted a brain chip in his first human patient, a 30-year-old quadriplegic man named Nolan Arbaugh, who was suddenly able to move the computer cursor with only his thoughts. So the future might not be AI versus humans, but AI augmented humans versus extinction. That sounds like science fiction, but that is a plausible outcome on our current trajectory. When we stop thinking like it's us versus them, the conversation shifts from fear to evolution. Kurzweil's concept of the singularity and Neuralink's brain-computer interfaces are both leading us toward a time where if we stay purely human, don't adapt and adopt these technologies, we may not stand a chance. We are just scratching the surface of what AI is really capable of. But if you're already seeing the signs and you want to stay ahead of this shift, tap the subscribe button below. I'll make sure that you are prepared for what comes next. For over 300,000 years, Homo sapiens have sat at the top of the food chain because we're the smartest. Intelligence was our edge. It's what allowed us to create fire, build civilizations, split atoms, and decode our own DNA. We've never had to share that throne until now. What we're building with AI is a new form of intelligence that doesn't share our limitations. And unlike every rival we've faced, this one isn't made out of flesh and blood. It's made of code, data, and exponential feedback loops. For the first time in human history, we're staring into the eyes of something that could surpass us permanently. And it's not because it hates us or wants power. but because we programmed it to improve and is doing exactly that. For a little while right now, we're still in charge and we can still affect how the future plays out. I'm not sure for how much longer though, as things are changing really fast. If this trajectory continues, AI will be the one writing the future and we'll be watching it unfold, unable to keep up. This is the evolutionary fork in the road. So we're facing a choice. Compete and lose, or evolve and coexist. If you fight the tide, you will be swept away. Flow with it, and we might figure out a way to coexist and evolve with AI while remaining human and who we are. This is a turning point for our species. Once intelligence exists outside of biology, the rules of life itself begin to change. So the real question isn't what will AI become? It is, what will we become in response?